everybody, and welcome to the Science Fiction Prototyping Podcast. This is Brian David Johnson, and this month we are kind of doing something kind of fun. It's really the first time we've done it for the Science Fiction Prototyping column, is we have a guest author. And I think if you've read the column or listened to the podcast before, you'll know the 21st Century Robot Project, and very specifically, you'll know the character of Jimmy the robot. And that Jimmy was one of the first creations of the science fiction prototyping process. And in the column, we've been kind of chronicling Jimmy's progression from science fiction into the real world. But in this column, we've got something that's a little bit special. We're lucky enough to be joined by Julie, who was the intern who came to the Intel Corporation, where I'm a futurist, and spent the summer with Jimmy. Spent the summer with Jimmy the robot. She basically traveled around and spent time with a walking, talking, tweeting science fiction prototype. And so she has written a column for us and came in as a guest author, but I also wanted to sit down with her today and talk to her a little bit about her experiences living with and programming and being around Jimmy the robot and actually being around a science fiction prototype. So let's sit down and listen to the conversation I had with her. Julie, thank you for joining us on the Science Fiction Prototyping Podcast.
Yes, thank you for having me.
So, Julie, what was your path to get to Jimmy, to get to Intel? What were you doing before, and what brought you here?
So, in high school, I won an award for the National Center for Women and Information Technology, Aspirations Award in the state of Georgia, and that sort of propelled me to stay in computer science more. I then headed off to Goucher College in Baltimore, Maryland. It's a tiny little liberal arts college, which is known for its study abroad program of everything. And then I created my own major there in human-computer interaction. So that's computer science, cognitive science, and math, all combined. And then I just applied online. And last year I was here and I was working on enterprise servers, and I was part of the iRise internship, which is the early immersion in software engineering internship. Technology really likes its acronym.
Yes.
A lot. So in the iRise internship, you get to work on a live software project, and you get the next year, if you come back, you kind of get to more focus and ask for an area. So I asked for something more user-friendly, something where you could really interact with it. And I was given a list of things, and, the head of the intern program said, I have this robot named Jimmy. I need to create an app for it, blah, blah, blah. I was like, that is for me. I am doing that. I don't want to hear any other options. Just figure out how to get me in that group, because that is all I want. And then I got a call at midnight. I'm not sure who was more excited, her or me, going, I got it, you got it, we're going to go. We are going to get a Jimmy. Not you are getting a Jimmy, we are getting a Jimmy.
So what was it like? What was it like spending your summer with Jimmy?
At first it is like a small child. He's like a kid in a way. At first, you're awkward and you're trying to get used to how to sort of handle him, and, you're being asked all these different things, and you have to figure out, how am I going to travel with him? What am I going to show? How does he work? All the things, I guess, I don't know, that you deal with when you're babysitting or, with a little kid. What am I going to do? And slowly as it's progressed, I've become more and more comfortable, and we do ridiculous things together, as you know. We like to take silly pictures and pose ourselves, as you like, in bathrobes and towel hats.
But you're also programming him, so
yeah.
You've been doing the code as well. So
yep.
What's that been like?
Coding him it was hard at first, because I was handed a robot, and they said, now figure out, this is the basis of how he works, now figure it out the rest of the way. And from that, I sat down one day and I just took out all these just paper, because, I don't know, I guess paper works a little bit better, and I wrote out each line and what it did, and so that I could figure out what each line did, and from that I was able to build my own programs. So now I'm able to get them walking and moving, which is a big step.
And so what was the first app you built? Tell me about the Head Nod app.
The first app, so the Head Nod app that I built was basically he moves his head up and down, and I figured out how to do it at a specific rate, and then you're able to enter in a number, which could be a tempo, and he then bobs his head to that tempo. It's pretty fancy.
And then you're going to do an add-on where you're going to put it to the microphone.
Yep.
So that, what happens?
So then what happens is you are able to detect the tempo using any sort of open source software. I'm sure there's something out there. And have him then nod his head while he hears the music.
So he'll be able to nod his head to the music.
Yes.
So what was, of all the places you went and all the people that you met with Jimmy, what's the most memorable for you for the whole summer?
There were a lot of memorable ones. It's fun. The bowling was really fun. That was an experience in itself. I got to, there's so many things I did. What did I not do? I mean, I met with BK.
Brian Krasanis,
yeah.
the CEO of Intel.
Yeah, we met with him. We took a selfie together. That was a great picture. It's always fun to see kids with Jimmy. That was always entertaining because they would always be so excited and they come up with the greatest ideas. And, yesterday I had a kid come up to me and go, I'm going to be an engineer one day and I'm going to make my own Jimmy. He said, I'm not even going to have to buy one. I'm going to make my own, is what he told me. And I said, yeah? And he was like, yep. And then he just walked away.
Well, let me ask you this. So now that the summer's over, you literally are leaving us tomorrow.
Yep.
And you're leaving Jimmy behind and you've got to go. So
very hard.
What are you going to miss most about Jimmy? And what do you hope to do next with the 21st Century Robot Project?
So, what am I going to miss most about Jimmy? Well, there's something comforting about having him in my cubicle every day and having him sit and sort of stare at me in the weirdest way. There's something sort of comforting about that. And, all of our silly pictures, and now I'm going to go places and I'm not going to have to think of what is the most ridiculous situation I can put this robot in, It really gave me some creativity every day to kind of think of, what sort of picture am I going to take today to add to this never-ending list of moments that we've had. And in the future, I hope that I can keep working on him and keep sort of sharing him with people and keep developing more apps for him. I think it's important that he has a strong base of people supporting him.
Well, Julie, thank you so much. And on behalf of Jimmy and everybody in the 21st Century Robot Project, all the work that you have done has been truly amazing, and we're just going to keep going. But thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Julie is a truly remarkable human being. She's a very talented young engineer, but also just has a great sense of humor and a great sense of kind of herself and the world. And I could not think of a better person to pair up with Jimmy and kind of take the idea of the 21st century robot, take the ideas of science fiction prototyping and take them out into the real world. I think she developed a really close connection to Jimmy, and she not only did that on a personal level, but she used that to make a connection with other people. It was really wonderful watching her move through her summer and go talk to young engineers, go talk to young women, and talk about engineering, and to be able to use Jimmy and use the science fiction prototyping process as a way to get young people interested in science, technology, engineering, and math, kind of showing them that creativity and engineering, creativity and science can go hand in hand, that some of the most creative people that I know are engineers, and some of the most technical people I know are artists. And I think that really helped to draw people in. And, ultimately, I love the idea of Julie sitting in her cube and always having Jimmy there. And Jimmy always watching her and thinking about their adventures as they kind of went through their summer. So I cannot wait to see what she's going to do next and the things that she might do next with Jimmy and the 21st Century Robot Project. I think it's going to be really exciting. So thank you for joining us on the Science Fiction Prototyping Podcast. Again, if you ever have any ideas or you have any comments, please email me at brian.david.johnson@intel.com, or you can always follow me on Twitter. I'm at IntelFuturist. If you have any ideas for the column, if you have any ideas for science fiction prototyping, please just send them my way. And we'll see you on the next podcast. Thanks.